Now, most six-figure entrepreneurs are sitting on a gold mine without ever knowing it. And that gold mine is customer complaints. Because what normally happens is when they have a customer that's complaining, it's either one of three things happen. Number one is that they ignore that customer, burying their head in the sand, hoping that they're going to go away. Two, they pretend that they're listening and they care, but actually they just can't wait to get rid of them. Or three, they compensate him in some way, but don't actually address what the customer's complaining about. And so it becomes a reoccurring problem within a business with customers complaining about the same things over and over again. Now, I don't want you to make that mistake. And so that's the reason why I create this video, to help you unlock the millions that are potentially sitting within your business by understanding and valuing customer complaints and seeing them for what they actually are. Now, my name is Ryan Jackson, serial entrepreneur, author of the highly acclaimed book, The Success Rebellion, and I now help small service-based business owners how to escape the data delivery and scale their company to multiple seven figures. The reason why, because I actually did that within my own business. I took my struggling business to a multi-seven-figure exit, and so now I'm teaching other entrepreneurs to do the same. Now, I've been mentoring in some capacity for a number of years now, and I've been in business for even longer. And so I tend to see the same patterns across multiple industries where entrepreneurs or small business owners are making this fatal mistake. And that is not recognizing customer complaints as a valuable piece of feedback, and rather than just seeing them as a nuisance and an interruption to the day. And so what you need to understand is this: you have to begin to reframe your mind and the way you perceive customer complaints. Because in actuality, that's going to be the most valuable piece of feedback that you receive from your customers. Look, I understand how it is sometimes, right? When you're running a business, there's so many different moving parts. You might have meetings in the morning. You might be sitting down doing one-to-ones with your team. You might be speaking to clients intermittently, and then having to deal with this one moaning customer is just really not what you want to be doing. Life is stressful enough without having to add that complaint into the mix. However, I'm going to challenge you on that, because you got to understand that these customer complaints are probably the most important pieces of feedback that you're going to get for your company. So they can't be ignored. And it's important that you also understand that this one individual is likely to represent, 10, 20 more who are the silent majority. They're the individuals that are unhappy, who are experiencing probably the same issues and the same frustrations, but yet it's not in their nature or in their personality to present that to you. They're not going to complain. They're just going to sit there unhappy, dissatisfied, till one day they're going to decide to take their business and their money elsewhere. So you don't want to do that. So what you need to firstly understand is that for every one customer complaint, there may be 10, 20 people in the background that are experiencing the same frustrations and issues, but they just haven't communicated that to you. And probably one of the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make when they're dealing with complaints is that they let their ego get in the way, meaning they don't want to hear back from somebody because they feel that it's going to reflect on them as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. They might perceive it as, if someone's complaining, that means I'm not doing well. So rather than face that reality, or false reality, should I say, then they would rather just bury their head in the sand and avoid that confrontation, which is just ridiculous. And going back to my point, that's a false reality, that you have to understand that a lot of the time it's going to be impossible to please everyone. No business is perfect. Even the best organizations, they still receive constructive criticism and complaints and negative reviews from customers, because it's impossible to reach perfection. It's a false ideology. And so you have to firstly get your ego out of the way. It's not about you. And understand that in order for you to improve, in order for you to develop and deliver a better service, firstly, you have to get that real life feedback to learn what you could do better. And so the main message from the video is, by not valuing and dealing with customer complaints correctly and giving them the time and energy that they rightfully deserve, you're actually allowing money to slip through your hands. And a lot of the time in business, we become so fixated on bringing in new customers into the business, focusing on our sales, focusing on our marketing. Actually, if we used to spend just a fraction of our time and energy in refining the product or service that we have, we would be making a lot more profit within the business. And I think this helps to put it into some perspective, because when you look at these large corporations, the likes of Amazon, Facebook, etc., yeah, they spend literally tens of millions of pounds each year on focus groups, beta testing, surveys, market research, just to understand what their customers want, what they like, what they don't like, how they can improve, what they like about their product. And they're not letting their ego get in the way. They understand that this is a necessary part of success if they want to maintain their market share and want to be the market leaders. So you now have to begin to shift your thinking to the likes of these large corporations, these worldwide companies, and start to maybe not spending millions or spending unnecessary thousands on it, because actually you already have the opportunity to gain that first direct feedback from your customers, but instead you're avoiding their calls, you're avoiding their emails. When they're calling you, you're pretending that you're in a meeting when actually you have the time to sit down and to find out what the core issue is. And so unlike these bigger corporations, you don't have to spend the money. Yeah, your customers are giving you this feedback for free already. And look, let's look at it logically. If there's a restaurant that is experiencing a number of complaints around a certain dish, and they change that dish with something that the clients or the customers are likely to want, what do you think is going to happen? Yeah, sales are going to increase. Sales are going to go up. So it's only going to be a bonus for that restaurant because they listen to their customers. Equally, if you had a SaaS company, but for whatever reason, the onboarding process for your platform wasn't delivering. Yeah, it was very complicated. People didn't understand it. There were so many hoops they had to jump through in order to sign up and register. So if they was to fix that problem because they listened to the customer complaints, automatically it's going to reduce churn rate, meaning more money. And so if you can reduce the amount of complaints and increase customer retention, and do the calculation yourself, what's the lifetime value of one of your customers? If you can reduce the number of complaints by 20, 30% by making a few corrections, then that's going to massively reduce your churn rate, meaning that customers stay with you with longer. They're going to have a better customer experience. Thus, to others who might sign up with you, that's only going to lead to more income, more revenue, and more profitability without you spending any money in marketing to actually attract these individuals. So for me, it's a no-brainer. And so if I was going to share with you the 3 key steps that you need to take in order to turn these customer complaints into millions, into revenue, then here are the 3 steps that I recommend. So 1, remove your ego. Yeah, it has no place in business. It doesn't serve you. In fact, it can be one of the most destructive forces that are going to prevent you from reaching your goal. And as a business leader, you need to be able to keep your ego in check. So if you're ever in a situation where you're dealing with a customer complaint and you're feeling defensive, you're feeling uncomfortable, or you're feeling attacked, that's your ego. Yeah, so be aware, be mindful of it, listen to it. It's not serving you. In those sort of situations, you need to put that to the side and look at it from, what can I learn about my business in this situation? What is this customer helping me with? And just, if anything, I would say look at them as an addition to your team. They're a first-line employee who's giving you that crucial feedback of things that you can improve on and areas where you may be dropping the ball. And when you start to look at it like that, rather than a place of defensiveness, thinking, no, how dare you say that about my business? But we've done this for you, we've done that for you. It means fuck all. It doesn't matter. And this is another thing, that a level of entitlement that sometimes business owners carry. We did this and this and this. We helped you make that much. It doesn't matter. There's tens of other people or other business owners just like you who will offer them the same and more. So your customers owe you nothing. Yeah. So don't ever get that confused. So what you need to do is, as I say, dissolve that ego and look in ways, what can I learn from this situation? What is this extended employee teaching me about my business right here, right now? And then take notes and action steps on how to resolve that. Step 2 is to concentrate on fixing the holes in your bucket rather than pulling more water in. It's crazy how many businesses focus on growth, but neglecting their churn rate. If you have customers that are complaining, remember, they represent the silent majority. there's going to be common patterns with the complaints that you're receiving. Yeah, the same things might be popping up time after time. That is the case. Forget about your sales and marketing. Yeah, look at filling the holes that you currently have, so that you're building your foundation, you're building your empire on a solid foundation. Okay, don't get carried away in which I need to be concentrating on growth, because sometimes growth doesn't necessarily equate to more profits. But by reducing your churn rate, keeping your customers with you for longer, it's going to equate to more profits, because you don't have to invest money in your sales and marketing to acquire new customers. And step 3 is to turn complaints into golden nuggets. So what do I mean by this? Each complaint presents a unique opportunity to further develop or enhance the offer you provide to your customers. So say, for example, you're an accountant, and one of the complaints that you're receiving is that your clients don't really know their numbers. You're not communicating correctly. The only time they sit down with you is at the end of year accounting period, where you're requesting all the bits of information, and you're not really developing that rapport. And as a result, they don't know where their business is during the year. It's only the end of the year, once they've submitted their information, that you provide them their final audit and their books, and they can calculate their profitability. So if that was a common complaint, then naturally you're going to want to put in some measures whereby you can communicate with them, maybe on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, how their business is performing financially. Now, I'm not saying you necessarily have to deliver that for free, because generally I know as an accountant you wouldn't. It'd be like a bolt onto what you do, monthly management accounts. However, if you're not providing that at the moment and you're receiving these complaints on a regular basis, then that is an opportunity for growth for your business. You can then provide an additional service where you can provide the monthly management accounts, where your clients are going to know exactly where they are within their business when it comes to the finances each and every month. They're going to receive that in their email box by, say, the 5th or the 6th of the following month. And so because you listened, because you understood that it could provide an opportunity for growth and an enhancement in your current delivery, that then resulted in you extracting more money from your clients because of this service that now you provide. But if you have dismissed these complaints and just ignored them, forgot about them, didn't respond, one or two things would have happened. One, they would have likely taken their business elsewhere. Secondly, you would still be in the same place, not growing, not developing, not enhancing your offering or your service to your customers. So you got to understand that these gems we're provided, i.e. customer complaints, are unique opportunities that can help us improve our current service, but then sometimes it can help us create new ones, driving additional business or additional revenue into your business. Now, not every complaint is going to be opportunity for additional revenue and income, but ultimately, the less friction you can reduce from your customers using your service or your product, the less friction that is created, the happier they're going to be. So if the registration process or the onboarding process is a headache and it's just prolonged, then you need to address that if you're receiving complaints relating to it. Or if the quality of your service isn't great, if your team are always late, that's something you need to address, because that's going to mean less referrals, less positive reviews, meaning that your social proof is going to be decreased and you can't leverage that for future marketing, etc. Build a bad reputation for your business. Ultimately, it's about creating something that you can be proud of, providing a level of service that, you know, anyone has an interaction with your business, they leave with a positive experience. And the first way to actually do this is by valuing the complaints that you're receiving and not ignoring them. And guys, if I haven't convinced you already, think about it like this. When was the last time you complained relating to a bad service that you experienced? Or there was a service provider who under-delivered? Yeah, you didn't complain because you wanted to and, you know, you get great satisfaction from it. If anything, it's an inconvenience to you because you have to take time out of your day to raise that complaint. But you did it because you was genuinely unhappy. You did it because their lack of care or their lack of service compromised you. And it's likely that complaint or experience left a negative perception of that company, and likely that you may not use them again, or you might be reluctant to do so. So you want to begin eliminating these within your business. You don't want to give, business is hard enough. Why would you want to continue giving people excuses not for them to spend their money with you? You don't want to do that. It's counterintuitive, right? So guys, if you are serious about growing and expanding your business, or even removing yourself from the day-to-day delivery, this is something that you need to take seriously. All right. So firstly, you want to be reframing those complaints for opportunities for innovation. Yeah, that's key. 2, you need to be taking your ego out of the way. Yeah, it doesn't serve you, and doesn't belong in business. 3, from here, today, start turning those customer complaints into golden nuggets. Use them for opportunities to enhance your current service, develop further products or services, meaning driving more revenue into your business, helping you to grow as a CEO or business owner. Okay, so no fear complaints, guys. Value them. And if you valued this video, as always, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you on the next video.